Welcome to the One Bite at a Time podcast, where we create diet-free homes one bite at a time. I'm Jarrod Boyle, registered dietitian, one bite at a time. You know me, but this is Kylie, my friend. So you tell them what you're into, how we met, go a little bit in the background of things.
Okay. We met through, I would say, a mutual friend, right? Because y'all and me, kind of.
Yeah, and Brandon.
Yeah. And you reached out to me because you wanted to partner in a way so that my clients could come to you and your clients could come to me, because I'm a personal trainer.
Yeah. So how long, well, I guess start me back from the start of the journey. What made you kind of get into fitness in general?
When I was 15, I had a really bad body image. So I got into it in not a healthy way, because it was initially like, okay, like I need to eat as little as possible and work out as much as possible. I just want to be really, really skinny. So that was how I got into it. And then it got to a point where I did develop like an eating disorder. Things weren't good. I was just pushing myself way too hard. And that's when I got into the other side of things where I'm like, you know what? No, I want to gain muscle. I want to get myself healthy. I want to be strong. And then that led into, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. This is awesome.
Yeah. So you've seen every side of it. You've been through the ups and the downs.
Yeah.
And so you've had like those good pivotal moments where you wanted to make a change and it wasn't in a healthy way. And I really relate. I had the same thing happen. I was 15, 16, 17.
Always when it starts those teen years. It's when you hit puberty, and then, I don't know, you see everybody else and you're like, I should probably look like this and look like this, and your body's changing and just the image, it's just, there's a lot.
Yeah, the hormones.
It's a hard age.
Crazy.
It's a hard age.
Yeah, you're surrounded by so many people who look so different in so many different ways, and you want to feel like one in the crowd and be that type of person.
Yeah.
So, you know, I appreciate that we both took that initiative, but, you know, I always look back and, you know, that was like 10 years ago for me, and I'm always thinking, now I'm trying to coach that person who was in those shoes.
That's exactly what I do. I do the same thing, because whenever I have people who start when they're a young girl, because all my people are mostly young girls, whenever I get those people that start and they don't have a good relationship with food or a good relationship with their body in general, I'm always like thinking of myself. So I'm imagining, okay, I'm talking to 15-year-old Kylie before she understood things. She knew that food was okay. She knew that picking up weights wouldn't make her look big and bulky before I knew all the things.
The classic.
Yeah, yes.
And we work with all ages too, and especially young women and older women, and that's always the fear. You know, they have to eat as little as possible. They have to do a ton of cardio. And they can't touch weights or they'll be bulky. Yeah. And I'm thinking, I wish I could be bulky. I've been touching weights for a while. You know? And
I'm like, I wish it worked like that.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But that's exactly how it goes. And it's nice when you come from that background, because you feel it, I feel it, where we're coming from a place of love. Like, we're not trying to judge them because they don't know, because you don't get taught this stuff in school.
Right.
You know, like I went to school for specifically the food side, but you still don't learn the ins and outs of those emotional things.
Yeah, and then you don't get as frustrated with them, because when they start and you're like, oh, they don't understand and they're just not listening to me. You have to understand the headspace they're in.
Yes.
So then you don't get as frustrated, like, okay, this is what's going through their mind. I have to be gentle with that, and I have to understand that, instead of being like, why aren't they listening? Why don't they get this? You have to understand the emotional side of everything too.
Yeah, they've been through so much. And like, even just to pick up the phone and call one of us, like, is such a hard step.
It's a big step. It's a big step.
Yeah. So when we answer, we're like, thank you. Like, thank you for, you know, having the courage to do that. That's probably the hardest part of the journey. Is asking for help. And, you know, I'm sure you've had girls come to you and like maybe a couple sessions in, they're like, this isn't as bad as I thought it'd be.
Oh yeah. The most common thing is whenever I give somebody, I can do meal plans, but I usually just do tracking macros, because people like the flexibility of it, because, you know, you can still kind of eat, you know, whatever, just as long as you're hitting your numbers. So whenever I set those numbers for them, they're like, oh my God, like, I've never eaten so much and somehow I lost weight, or somehow I feel better. I'm like, yes, because the under eating is so common. So then, once you're like, no, your body actually needs this. This is what you do. They're like, wow, thank you. I would have never thought this.
Right?
It's such a good feeling, yeah.
Yeah, and it's so counterintuitive because they think they're going to come in and have to eat less than they're already eating because they're not losing weight, eating so little now.
Yeah.
And then we're like, no, you kind of got to eat more.
That's where they're always so thankful because they're like, I would have never, ate the extra calories, ate the extra protein. I would have never done any of this if it wasn't for you. And they're so thankful, and it makes me feel so good.
Right. I know that feeling. It's like they get to have an easier lifestyle and make more progress. And they're always so mind blown. And I'm like, yes, this is how it should be. Like, you can make progress and still enjoy your life.
Exactly.
And so I guess that leads me into saying you have been on that journey and then you went into competing.
Yeah.
So that's where you do have to be pretty damn locked in. Like, you don't enjoy every moment.
So, for sure.
Like, walk me through from before and you're like, I'm going to compete.
Okay, so I was kind of doing all of the things. Like, I was doing the training. I can't say I was eating that way, but I was trying to learn it pretty much.
Yeah.
I was like protein maxing. I'm just like, because my journey, it's been like, I think like 5 or 6 years now of like all of this. It is not a perfect 5 or 6 years.
No,
so like,
it never is.
Once I was into lifting and everything, I'm like, okay, I gotta eat a lot of protein. I gotta do this. And then I start learning all the things. But then, the more I learn, the better I start to look because I'm actually doing things the right way and I'm incorporating those new things I just learned. So it was going good. I started to think about competing because people will come up to me in the gym and think I did compete.
They ask you,
do you compete? No. Like, what? Like, I guess I could.
Yeah.
So it was after so many people kept saying it, I was like, you know what? I'm doing all the things. Why not do something with this? I could because I'm kind of just doing it for me. I might as well do it for a purpose, I guess. I mean, if it's making me happy, that is a purpose. But you know what I mean? I'm like, put it to something bigger. And that was kind of what led me into actually doing it. Because I'm like, enough people have said it where I'm going to, I'm going to actually do it now. I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's an insane journey. And you looked amazing when you did it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll like throw up some pictures of like what you look like maybe a couple like prep pics and like during that journey, just because it's such an insane transformation because you can just look good like walking around, but to look good on stage.
Oh, stage level is a whole different ballpark. That's what I have to tell clients sometimes because sometimes you do get clients who are like, well, I want to look like that. And I'm like listen,
stage ready.
I don't walk around stage ready 24/7. You are only stage ready for like a week or two. Like you don't just walk around like that because it's actually not healthy. It looks really cool. It's not healthy at all. So yeah, it's just a whole different playing field there.
It really is.
Yeah.
And we've seen that, your hormones go out of whack.
Oh yeah.
Things get crazy.
Yeah, I lost my cycle for like 6 months, I think it was. I didn't have my cycle and that's intense. Obviously not good. So that is something that people, when you're about to compete, you do need to get that understanding too. So like before I competed, I had to like learn all of that. I had a really good friend, her name is Audie. I met her at the gym and she competes and she was kind of like my mentor through like my first show and everything and just all the things. She's helping me with posing. She introduced me to her posing coach and took me to some like posing clinics and stuff. So like you do before you compete definitely need to have that like knowledge of okay, this isn't healthy to be stage ready and like I'm really gonna push myself hard. It's not going to be the best for me. It might freaking suck, but yeah.
But it's worth it.
It's worth it. It is worth it. It is worth it. Yeah.
It takes a lot of sacrifice, but I think you've been through the side of that disordered eating where your head wasn't where you wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And you went through that journey to strengthen your mental state for that. And someone coming in, like a client coming in saying, I want to be stage ready, but they're currently dealing with an eating disorder. It's such a fine line of how do you get them to realize we have bigger things to work on.
Right.
The stage isn't important right now. We got to get your mind and your body aligned. And you've been through that, which just goes to show you how advanced you are and how emotionally intelligent you are to know what to do and be okay with like dealing with those things and body dysmorphia. It's a crazy thing.
It's really crazy. I had a girl, she was a client and I actually had to, before anybody wants to do a meal plan, I have to kind of be like, all right, well, let's talk about, your history of food. Like, have you ever had an eating disorder? What's your relationship with food been like? Things like that before I'm assigning them something, because I don't want them to feel like, okay, yes, I have to eat this, this, and this, or else it's going to be really bad. Like, I want them to know, like, you can follow this meal plan and you can still have flexibility and like things are okay. My favorite thing to do is like send them videos of me eating, because I'll do a time lapse of me eating like some crazy food. So I'm like, no, here, trust me, like you're good, it's fine. But this one girl that I had that conversation with her, and she did open up and be like, yes, like I have had a long history of like disordered eating. So I'm like, all right. I worked with her for a little bit until I was like, okay, I don't think that you are ready for this because you're too hard on yourself. And I just want to be your mentor for getting your mind there, like letting you know food's okay, letting you know that you look great. You don't even need to worry about this. So then I was no longer taking payment from her, and I just was kind of her mentor with food. And
That's awesome.
I still talk to her here and there too now, because like, it was about like a month or two of just like checking in with her every day. How are you feeling? What did you eat today? Like, like what were you craving today? What was your body feeling today? How can I help if you're looking for a healthier option? Like things like that, just with no payment, because like I care that their head's in the right space before they jump in and pay me, because it's not money. It's like I want to help people, and I want them to get in the same headspace as me, because my relationship with food has come such a long way. So I know what it's like to be at that really, really bad end of it. So I'm like, okay, that's what's really important about it, is like, okay, your head has to be there first, because if not, I'm not going to let you, continue with this. I need you to be there.
Go down that path and just face so many more issues.
Oh yeah, really.
It's rough. I think that is where, you can go down in the deep end if you don't feel ready mentally for something like stepping on stage.
Absolutely.
And so you've come in, you've been, I would say, disciplined for a really long time. And then there's a point where, and I'm sure we've both seen this, where you can get obsessed.
Yeah.
And it takes a toll on you, where you're trying to be healthy, you're trying to do the good things, but you become obsessed and you start turning down dinners with friends, or going on vacations and staying outside and skipping the meal, and different things like that, where it becomes a problem. And I guess, have you ever personally been over that line into obsession?
100%.
Really?
100%. So I would say that I was kind of that way until I did my first show, because my relationship with food had been fine, where I knew like how much I could eat, like I can eat more and do this, but I still was so strict with like, if it's not healthy, I'm not eating it.
Oh, okay.
So I would not go out to eat with anybody. If I did go with my friends somewhere, like I'm just sitting there not getting anything if there's no options for me. If I'm getting something, I'm just getting, if I'm getting something, I'm just getting grilled chicken, like no seasoning, like I was very,
butter.
Yes, I was very, very strict with myself. And then after I did my first show, my old coach, actually, the guy who coached me for my 2 shows that I did previously last year, he was the one who kind of like helped me with that, because it was literally right after I did my first show, I was like, okay, now I get to eat something, and you want me to eat what, a burger and fries? I can't do that. Are you kidding? A burger and fries? It's like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I can't do that. He's like, you're going to eat a burger and fries. It's going to be great. So I went out to this restaurant, and I actually ended up calling him again while I'm at this restaurant. I'm like, you're sure this is okay? Because I know, I'm like, okay, it's just numbers. Like it's carbs, fat, protein. That's all it is. Calories, whatever. Yeah. But it's just, since it's not a healthy way to do it, I'm like, I was psyching myself out. And then I ate it. And after that point, I was kind of like, okay, everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. It was literally that one burger where I'm like, everything will be fine. Yeah. And I feel like that's when it kind of changed from obsession to more just like, now I would say it's discipline, I guess, because now if I want to go out and stuff, obviously when I'm on prep, it's different, but
there's a different level.
When I'm on prep, it's different, but just regular lifestyle, like I'll be able to go out and do things just timing and planning it out and things like that, and certain things I order, but like I have my moments. Like I've discovered crumble cookie, like now I know, and it's not obsession like it was. Like I remember going to Cedar Point, it was like senior year of high school, and crashing out because there's like nothing healthy to get there. And I was just so mad about it. So I'm like, we need to go stop at a gas station, something. I'm with all my friends. I'm like, we need to stop at a gas station or something. I need like a protein bar. I need a protein shake. I need something. Like, they don't have anything and I'm mad about it.
And it throws you off.
Yes. And I'm like, that's because I was too obsessed with it. It was just too much. I was too hard on myself. I didn't really let myself have the grace that it's okay to have stuff that's not healthy. So yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you found a way to give yourself the grace.
Yeah, and really like competing helped me with that because like I said, like my relationship with food has been like, you know, all ends of the spectrum, and now it's the best it's ever been, and I would honestly confidently say it's pretty perfect.
You built a life around it, and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, because it went from, you know, like an actual eating disorder to then I was under eating to then when I'm like lifting and everything, not knowing what I'm doing, just eating a lot of protein, doing all that kind of stuff. And then it was like, okay, like just only healthy stuff. Like I only want anything healthy. Like I can't touch anything if it's not healthy. And then after competing, it was like, okay, I can have whatever. It is fine. I'm like, food is numbers. I could have a lot sometimes if I need it. I you know, whatever. Everything's fine. Like I can have crumble cookie. I can have pizza. I can have these things as long as I'm not having them every single day. But even if I wanted to, like before I started this prep, I had to do 2 weeks of like untracked eating, and it was like kind of like a bulking phase because I just had to try to eat as much as I could, and the way to do that is like junk foods. You know, I'm having canes, I'm having calories. I'm having this just to try to get those numbers. And everything was fine. And
that's awesome.
It's just, that's where I'm at now. I'm like, everything's fine. It'll be good.
Truly, I feel like you broke that mold. And like,
I did,
it seems like that burger and fries moment.
Like, it was such a big moment.
It was.
It was such a big moment.
Take it off that pedestal.
It did.
You can have quote unquote bad foods. And it's like, if you have crumble cookie every single day, we're not doing that good. But if you have celery every single day and that's all you eat, you're doing just as bad.
Yeah,
you know?
it's the same exact thing on either end of it. It's the same thing. That's why I love when people show those little like charts and it'll be like the week of what, you know, what they're eating. It's like little emojis and it's like a salad, few donuts, burgers, salad. It's like, that's how it's supposed to be. Like you can have, you know.
We'll put one up on the screen.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Like that's how it should be, because it's like, then it shows the one that has like all the unhealthy food and then the one that's all salads. It's like, no, these are both bad. Like that's what, you know, you want to aim for that middle one. You have them dispersed. It's just all about how you do it.
It's so true. Because either way, life's going to suck.
If
you have donuts every day, you're going to feel like shit. You're going to have no energy.
Oh my gosh, that 2 weeks untracked. When,
you probably noticed
I
your
was
energy
still
levels
eating like healthy stuff, but I was like, okay, well for dinner I'm going to get a caniac combo because I need to get some calories in here. I felt so just blah, but it tasted good. But it's such a difference. I was I was like, I can't wait to start prep. Like I can't wait because I had freedom to have whatever I wanted, but then I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel terrible. I just can't wait to be on track, routine, everything's good. Like, oh my gosh.
That's the key. I feel like discipline and structure like creates freedom because you don't have to think as much and you just know what works. Like I'm working with my brother, we're working on his schedule, and it was the same thing. Like we made more focused blocks of time for certain activities, and he's like, dude, now I don't have to think as much and I feel more free. Because when I'm hanging out with my friends, I can be present and hang out, and I'm not worrying about work. And when I'm working and hanging out with friends, I don't feel like a failure. And it's like the same with food. Like if you go to Cane's, you're like, oh, I know I shouldn't be eating this right now. I'm in trouble. I'm off the diet. Yeah. But when you balance it out, you can go and you can enjoy it.
Exactly.
And not feel guilty.
Yeah. Like realistically, if somebody's macro tracking, it's like you can work Cane's in your macros if you really wanted to. Like there's like, is it the best source of like protein, carbs, fats? Probably not, but you can work it in if you really need to. Like I've done that before. I've definitely worked some unhealthy things into like meet macros when I'm off season macro tracking. I mean, you can work it into your diet for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
I definitely have a similar philosophy just to my own life. Like I want to hit a certain amount of calories. Like right now I'm trying to bulk, so I'm hitting 3,100. And I get a certain amount of protein. The most I've ever done was like 46.
That's a lot.
It was hard. It was way harder to do that. But I'm like, okay, I fit certain things and I know what I have to do. And if there's, say if I'm trying to cut down a little bit and maybe I'm eating 2,600, then I'm like, okay, if I want to go to Cane's with my friends, then I'm going to plan my day around that so I can do it.
Yes.
But if I try to do that every day, I'm going to struggle, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be as full earlier on. And same with my clients. I have that approach with them most of the time where they like a certain thing. Like I have my one client, she loves Coca-Cola. I'm like, you know, if we're
Coke
gonna
Zero, Diet Coke.
Yeah, I tried that, it didn't work.
Okay.
And so I'm like, I still love you if you really want this Coke. And so we got a mini can. They're 90 calories instead of the 140, you know?
Yeah.
So we can do something like that, or say, what if we just have Coke every couple days instead of every night at dinner?
Right.
And we can still fit those things, but she doesn't feel guilty when she has it now because it worked.
Right.
So like, I feel like you've been through that when you go out. Like at our age in our 20s, our friends want to go out. We go out to dinner, we go out to lunch, or I'm meeting people for lunch, so I have to fit these things in. Yeah. And it's definitely a balancing act.
Yeah.
You know?
That's like holidays too. I feel like before I got over that obsession, you know, part of it, I never really could enjoy holidays because I wasn't eating the stuff. I just wasn't doing it. Like I think I was probably about 15, like when I stopped enjoying the holiday things. I just wasn't eating the holiday foods. I wasn't enjoying it. Even on my birthday, this is because I love fruit, but from the time I was 14 actually, because this is just because I love fruit, but it's still kind of like fell into this obsession category once I got older.
Yeah.
I would always do a big fruit salad for my birthday instead of a birthday cake. Once
cool.
I was 14, that's when it started. And that's just because I loved fruit. But then once I was like in my eating disorder phase and everything, I was like, well, thank God that I love fruit because like I wouldn't eat the cake if there was a cake. And then if there was cupcakes or something that, you know, somebody gets me or gives me for my birthday, I'm like, can't eat that. Just have my fruit salad. Yeah. So yeah, holidays are a big one too with all of that kind of stuff, is because if you're in that obsession aspect of everything, you're not really enjoying it. Like this year I had amazing holidays because that's when I was on my 2-week untracked. I was like, let's go. I had so many Christmas cookies, so much good stuff. It was great. It was really good.
So that worked out well timing wise.
It did. The timing was really good on that. But that's like fitting it into your day, like how you were saying, you got to plan your day around that. So say I wasn't in 2 weeks untracked, I would know, okay, this is when Thanksgiving is. I know how much I'm probably going to be taking in on Thanksgiving, so let me work my day around that.
Exactly. You know, a lot of these things, you know, they're coming, and you can plan and be intentional, and then you don't have to go and say, oh, sorry, I can't have that. And you know, that socially, I feel like that's so hard because then everybody's like, well, why not? You know, what's going on? Are you okay? Or, oh, you're one of those healthy people, you can't eat my food. And then they take it as disrespect. You know,
that always makes me feel so bad.
Grandma brings cookies and you're like, Grandma, I can't eat this. She's like, what? I made these for you.
That is the worst. So that is the worst.
And so when you find that balance, you know, and overall for most of our clients, they're not really stepping on stage. So I always tell them it's one day. You know, I wouldn't even track it personally. But sometimes I do. Like me, if I'm, you know, following a more structured goal, you know, then maybe I'll still track. Maybe I'll just have 1 cookie instead of 4, you know, because sometimes they're hard to put down.
I was going to say, that's a hard thing to do.
Definitely. And then I've been there, I think on the other side when I was a teen, like I was overweight. So I was eating all the cookies and all the pasta. And at the holidays, I was having 3 plates. And, you know, I love food and I still do. And now I found that balance, but I can definitely relate to my clients when they have those days. And like, just like, relationship wise too, like it's especially hard with a partner, you know? And so I wanted to ask you about that too. Like, you know, you've been through some stuff and like, you've probably had partners that were super locked in or trying to pull you away from the goals, and maybe they didn't know they were trying to pull you away, but they may have been. So I guess so you're a young girl, you're building a life around health and fitness. So what do you do to find a good partner to support that goals?
I would confidently say I've never been with somebody who doesn't have an understanding, at least, of all the things, because I can't. Because then, you know, they're not going to understand me. And then also, like them pulling you away. I wouldn't want anybody to kind of pull me away from something. So I have to be with somebody who, like I said, at least has an understanding. They don't have to be a bodybuilder. They don't have to be crazy into it. They just need to have an understanding of it, because that support means everything. And just the understanding, like if I'm talking to them about it, they're not going to know what I'm talking about, and it's what I'm passionate about. And if they don't know, then it's just, it's like, well, now I'm just talking to a wall at this point.
And they may be judging you for things you do, or saying, oh, it's your prep day again, we can't go out to dinner, and that's hard.
That could affect it too, because then they're not going to understand things like that. And if, say I was on prep, if somebody wanted to get me candy as a surprise and I can't eat it, I wouldn't want to hurt someone's feelings. That's why I need somebody who understands, because then if they understand, they're not going to get me the candy. And if they did, their feelings wouldn't be hurt to why I didn't eat it or couldn't eat it.
Exactly. Even if they get it for you, they're like, oh, it is prep, she'll eat this another time.
Oh,
They'll still feel good that they got you that gift.
Yeah, exactly.
It's hard to turn those things down or say, hey, I can't do that right now. I got a certain goal. And so we work with a lot of women, and, not that their husbands pull them away or anything, but sometimes they need more of that support system. And because they're in a situation where they've already picked their partner, they built their life around other things, and then they fall into this journey and they're more building their life around the health and the fitness. And then sometimes they might feel like they're talking to a wall because their husband may not align with all that and understand that. So it's, luckily at our age, we have that flexibility, I guess you could say, to, pick a partner who aligns with us, because I would say we're lucky enough to have this passion early on.
Oh yeah,
where, I meet so many people in their 30s and 40s who just jump in, and they're not late to the game. They still got a lot of time to reach their goal. Yeah. But it can be tough when they have that partnership and they have so many habits and routines built, and then trying to find a way to say, hey, we're going to switch some of those around, but we don't want to make anyone else at home feel bad. It's such a balancing act. Right. So I guess, have you worked with any women at those ages, or has it mostly been people in their 20s?
There's a lot of, I would say I have a few of those sprinkled in there. It's just a lot of younger women, especially in college. A lot of girls in college. True. Just kind of, then around your 20s, same kind of age group as us. But I have worked with people like that, yes. And then what makes it hard about that is they'll be like, well, I have to make this, this for my husband all the time. Then you're telling me I can't eat this? Not that I don't tell anybody not to eat anything, but you know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, well, if I'm doing this and I'm making this for my husband or for my family every day, how am I supposed to turn down this? Or how am I supposed to sit there and measure this out and then just give them whatever they want?
It's so hard.
I've definitely had that a few times, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of battles you have to fight with that. And I've found it always just comes down to, how open is the communication line in the relationship? Can they just come to their husband and say, listen, I'm on this journey, and you might not understand every step of the way, but this is going to make me better, and this is going to make us better. Yeah. And usually that works most of the time, but sometimes you get pushback, because sometimes a husband or a wife, they might begin to think, oh, my partner's trying to change themselves. Does this mean I need to change myself? And then they get defensive, and then they fight back. And maybe it's conscious, maybe it's subconscious, but they feel those things, and they're like, oh, there's this, this tension in the air. And so I'm never we'll just get a divorce, because it's not that simple, but we try to get them to align. And that's why, our mission, we say we want to create a diet-free home, one bite at a time, because we got to get the whole house locked in. Just for, like you said it perfect. They at least have the understanding. They know where the one person is going. And usually we call it that because we want to catch the whole home as clients. Yeah. We want to get everybody working on their goals. Not that everybody needs to do a certain thing, but they're working towards something. Yeah. And it's more fun if you go to the gym with somebody, it's a fun time. Yeah. And sometimes you have your own goals and you want to go alone. Yeah. I have that too, but it's nice when you have a support system as a whole from everyone around you.
Oh yeah, and then it's also cool if you're with somebody who just has an understanding and not super into it.
Yeah.
You can kind of, rub off on them a little bit,
Yeah,
and then
fun.
and then they'll get into it, and it's like, okay, well, it's really cool to see that I had that effect on somebody. They understood, but now they really know. They
Exactly.
might understand a brief overview, but then you could rub off on them, and then they start to know all the things, and you see them getting better and then starting to fall in love with it too, and you're like, well, this is amazing, I just helped somebody.
It's a
like
good time.
unintentionally. Yeah
it rubs off. And
Yeah.
I know I have that issue where I'm like, hey, you can add some protein to your breakfast. She's like, well, I like my breakfast. I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. And then maybe a couple days later, she's like, hey, I tried an extra egg today. Like it rubs off like in that way. And say like my girlfriend's a physical therapist. So I'm like, give me those mobility tips, like get my scapula to activate better.
Yeah.
So she's been like helping me work through that. And so I guess for you, like, what have you seen, or what do you think makes a supportive partner? Like, what does that look like so that people can be on the lookout for that?
Okay, so, you mean like if I'm prepping support, or you mean like just the lifestyle support in general?
I think the lifestyle in this, like the health world, like with that perspective, like even just working out, trying to eat good foods, like what can they do to support you? Or have you had a partner that's done that well so far?
Yeah, so I guess I'll just use the example. So I dated somebody for a few years, and he just had an understanding of everything. Mm-hmm. He wasn't very into it the way I'm into it, but he worked out every day. He tried to eat a lot of protein, things like that. Once he saw my lifestyle and everything, the way he supported me on that was kind of like, if we're going somewhere, he's like, oh, I'm going to send you the menu so you can find something that you want to have.
Cool.
Yeah, he would send me the menu, like, you can find something you want. Is there anything at this place that you could have, like, or you want to have, like, whatever, like, I was on, because I was, just tracking my macros, things like that.
So
he's like, to keep me on track, and then he's like, oh, well, if you want to have a cheat meal or a cheat day or whatever, and, like, not track, whatever, here's this place and they have this and whatever.
The burger and fries.
Yes, the burger and fries. And then also learning how to weigh stuff out for me was like a big one, so that
that's a win.
He would he was really sweet. We just went our separate ways, just not, we're still friends. He's a great person. Awesome. But learning how to weigh stuff out and do all of that. So say I'm exhausted and I don't feel like cooking my food, and I go over to his house, he could bring me my food and have, this is how much carbs is in it, this is how much protein, this is how much fat, written out on a little piece of paper for me. I'm like, that's amazing. I'm like, thank you. I didn't have to think about it. Or like, if I'm on my way, like, oh, are you short on protein? Like, okay, cool. I'm going to cook this and have it ready for you. Here's 64 grams protein in this, like, ready for you. Things like that. Like, that's kind of the best way to be supportive about it. Or even, I don't know, I'm trying to think. Even with the gym, I think like working things around that too, because we went on a few vacations. Yeah. So the first vacation that we had went on was a cruise. And so he was like, don't worry, they have a gym on the cruise ship. But he's like, I knew you would ask. Yeah. And he looked into it for me. He sent me pictures of the gym on there. He's like, is this good? Like, you think it's good? Just in case I'd have to like pack anything else, if I need some like dumbbells or whatever. But it was a great gym. So things like that, just pretty much them being overall mindful of the way I'm living, and, making sure that I'm going to be happy with things we're doing, places we're going, and so that I'm not kind of getting the short end of the stick on anything, you know what I mean? And then even if their family doesn't understand it, because a lot of times families don't, because just the older generation doesn't get it. Yeah. So if my partners could say that to their parents and kind of help the parents get an understanding, so that I don't feel like the oddball out, and I don't have to be the one to explain, I can't have this because this, and I need to go to the gym at this time and do this and whatever. If the partner can just explain it to the parents for me, that's also another great way to support me.
That's nice.
So yeah, I would say all kinds of little things like that. Just, kind of learning it, and, getting things ready for me, helping me out when, I can turn off my brain. That's the thing too. I can turn off my brain, like the cruise ship situation, because he knew when he said cruise, my brain was gonna be like, what about the gym? So,
we're in trouble.
So he thought about it for me, things like that, just like making things easy, making my life easier, doing the little tasks that I won't have to do for myself just to fit into my lifestyle.
I think that's always nice. And I think that's nice in a relationship overall, like just doing the little things, but especially like, I know how it is too. It's so hard when I'm like, sometimes like, hey, and not now, like we're pretty locked in, but like before dating, I was like, hey, like maybe let's cook at home this time. And like we would go out and out and out. And then I'm like, hey, can we do it at home? And that way I kind of know what I'm getting for the goals I have at the time. And, it's hard to make those adjustments. And like, the parents are like, oh, how come you're eating 3 plates, or how come you're eating 1 plate?
Yes, that's why you want your partner to explain it to their parents so that you don't have to, because then you just feel awkward and I don't know, you feel bad too. So it's nice when they could explain that.
It always feels good. And I feel like you said, like turning off your brain. Like if a partner can do that for you, I feel like that's a good partner.
Yes, because instead of me having to deep dive and be like, okay, does this place have a gym? Does this place have a healthy option? Does this place have this? Whatever. Like, it's all figured out for me. If I'm being invited, obviously. Like if I made the plans, that's different. But like, if I'm dating a guy and he's inviting me somewhere where it's something where it's kind of going to be a given, then it's going to be hard to either go to the gym or eat a certain way or whatever. Him giving me all the solutions to it before it happens so that I'm not feeling stressed. So instead of somebody coming to me with a plan and me hearing the plan and being like, what am I going to do? I get to hear the plan and be like, oh, okay, that sounds great.
Let's go.
And so, I don't have to just be in freak out mode. I can just hear it as the plan. I don't have to hear it as what am I going to do to live my lifestyle. I can just hear it as the plan that it's supposed to be, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're at the level now, like we're I would say both at that level, but like someone coming in the door, like they have that fear around every single thing they do, even just going out to dinner. And they're like, is there going to be a healthy option at, this place down the street? And so over time you begin to develop, it's like, to me, it's like riding a bike where you're like, okay, if I go to this type of restaurant, I'm probably going to get this because I know it has a good amount of protein and fiber and I'll be good. I don't have to get nervous or anxious. Whereas like when I was younger, I was like, oh, my friends want to go here again. What am I going to do? Should I just cancel and just go another time, or should I eat first and not eat there, and then I'll be the only one not eating? And you've been through that.
Yeah, I've been there so many times.
But now it's like I feel like we've been riding that bike long enough where we can just kind of show up and make the best of it. And I would say
sometimes you have to do what you have to do.
True, it just
like
happens.
There's moments that truly do throw you off guard, because sometimes even like planning, prepping, sometimes life does get in the way and it'll throw you through a loop and you have to figure it out yourself. Like I was on a road trip once, I had food packed and everything. Something, I forget what happened, but something happened where I'm like, I couldn't eat it. Like it spoiled in some way because it was fish.
Oh,
It was fish.
That'll do it.
And I was like, okay, it's okay.
We learned.
I'm like, it's okay. There's nothing we can do. I prepared, but something happened. Life got in the way. So also, the drive that I was on, literally just gas stations. There was nothing else. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to have to get some gas station food. I had some eggs, the boiled eggs in the bags at the gas station. Like I had some boiled eggs, and then I had some beef jerky sticks. I had some protein shakes, just things like that. I'm like, life got in the way. These aren't really the options I wanted to eat. But, it's going to happen, and I still made it as healthy as I possibly could. A lot of processed food and maybe not even real eggs. We don't know if those are real.
Who knows?
But,
it's a toss-up.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you do it well, and I think that's the name of the game, where everybody feels like they have to have those perfect meals prepped all the time on the road trip. And like we counsel and we encourage that, like, hey, let's prepare ahead. Let's have this stuff ready. But we have that stuff happen all the time. We work with a lot of moms and a lot of children with them, and they're running around and things are busy and they're driving from this practice to that practice, and they're like, what the hell do I do? How do I follow anything? And so that's where we say we have to just figure it out.
Yeah,
you might have to go to a gas station.
Yeah, or even Chick-fil-A is a really good one, honestly.
True.
Like if you're in a pinch and you're like, shoot, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Chick-fil-A has really good macros on their stuff. Like their grilled sandwich, insane macros. Their grilled cool wrap, just their grilled nuggets in general. So it's like if you are a mom, you're rushing around like, oh my gosh, like, well, I need to feed my kids and I need to eat. Your kids are gonna love Chick-fil-A, and then you can also get a healthy option there. So
that's the win.
Yeah, it's really good to teach people that, so you can learn, okay, what can I do in a pinch and things like that, you know.
Yeah, and I would say even with all the craziness in people's lives, there's always somewhat of a routine. And like you might always pass a Chick-fil-A. You might always pass a Sheetz. Like
that's a good point too, yeah.
Yeah, like you kind of know where you're going to be 80% of the time. Like one of my clients, like she knows Sheetz has this, I forget what it was. It was like a certain drink that had protein or like some fiber in it, and like she really liked it. So she would go there before work like a couple days a week because she wouldn't have time to cook breakfast.
Yeah.
You know, so we would always have that option.
Yeah.
So it's nice when things are crazy and you're trying to find the balance. You can have some kind of a backup plan too.
Yeah.
Even if it's not perfect.
Right, right, exactly. There's just, life gets in the way sometimes. It truly does. So it's always okay.
And so with routines and craziness, like, you know, you still have some freedom. You're not a mom, you know, so you're doing your thing. What does life look like just on a normal day? Like not prepping.
Okay.
And then I want to hear about prepping.
Okay. I always, when I wake up, first thing I do after my morning routine is I go to the gym.
Cool.
Which my work schedule, you know, allows. And even if I were to have to work super early in the morning, I get up extra early and go to the gym first, because I always want to get that out of the way, because it makes me feel better. It's a good way to start off my day. But then also, I don't know what's going to get thrown in the way to keep postponing that, because that's a big thing. That's what helps people kind of, like a morning lift kind of helps people get in the routine of working out every day or whatever, because they're not pushing it to the end of their day and then everything else gets in the way and they're like, well, I couldn't today because of this. So I wake up and I go to the gym. And then I would say most of the time my food's prepped. Even when I'm not on prep, I do at least prepare some protein. Like I'll have some chicken or some beef cooked, something like that.
Cool.
And if not, just make it fresh, eat it. And then, you know, I go about my day. I'll cook my food, prep it, go to work, or it's already done for me, go to work, and say I'm in a really big rush that day. Just go grab something on the way, like a grilled chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A or something like that. I don't know. My days are pretty cut and dry, pretty basic.
And I feel like that's so valuable. That's what leads to success. Like success and a successful routine is not always sexy. It's like it's just super boring. Yeah. You know, and that's how mine is too. And I would say the thing I do different is I'll wake up and instantly start working, and exactly what you said always happens. I'm like, oh, I'll go to the gym at 9. I get up at like 4 or 5. And so I'll work till about 8 or 9 and then go to the gym. Oh, something comes up. I got to take this call.
Exactly.
I got to do this meeting. I got to go to this place. Someone's sick. I have to fill in for something. And then, gym time rolls around. It's 3 o'clock. And then I'm on the phone the whole time at the gym. I'm not getting a good workout.
That's what I feel like most of the time working out in the morning works better for most of the people. Like most people, it works better. You're getting it out of the way. Nothing in your day is going to push that back now. It's just whether or not you can wake up to actually do it.
True. That's the hard part for most people. I feel like I got past that. But
because sometimes you got to wake up extra early to do it before your day. In high school, I'd wake up at 4 in the morning. Because I'm like, in high school, I'd wake up at 4 in the morning to go before school, because school started at 7:30. So I'm like, well, got to get it in, because after school I'm going to work. I would not have time, and even if I did, it'd be too late, and I'm sure there'd be other things like homework, pushing it back, and then I'd put it on the back burner. But I'm like, I don't want this on the back burner. This is going to be first and foremost. That's my me time, just an hour to chunk out of my day. It's my time. I'm going to make time for it, and I'm going to place it at the beginning of my day. That way nothing else can push it back.
Yeah, because it's the highest priority.
Yeah.
And it's not just that you love the gym, which you do, you know, and I do too, but it's like we love taking care of ourselves, and we make that effort. And that's what I have to help, and all of my dietitians, we have to help our clients realize, like, you matter and you're important, and you need to love yourself and do that for yourself, whether it's the gym or maybe that's them cooking breakfast early or whatever the case is. But you can't feel selfish. You can't feel bad because you come into school, you come into work, you come into your relationships a better person.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not as moody or stressed or anxious because you've got that tension out in the gym. For me, that's what really helps.
Oh, I'll have so much anxiety if I don't work out when I wake up. I get really anxious because then all I'm thinking about is like, I didn't get to go to the gym. I'm so used to, my routine has been going to the gym in the morning for so long that now it gives me anxiety because I'm like, oh my gosh, like I didn't get to go and now I'm anxious because I'm just waiting on when I get to go and I'm scared things are going to come up, push it back. It gives me anxiety for that reason, but I know the gym also just gets rid of some anxiety as is because it's just such a good release. Yes, from all the other like benefits of it. But no, I'll get very anxious if I can't lift like that, and that is something that, like we were talking about with the partners, a partner needs to understand too, because if my plan is to wake up and go to the gym and it's somebody who doesn't understand that and they're like, we're gonna wake up and do all these other things first, I'm like, no, we can't. We can't do that.
It's so hard to you're in that warm bed with your partner and they don't want you to go. And you're like, well, I gotta go. I gotta get this done.
Yes, if it's somebody that can come with you, that's the best.
That's the goal.
Yes,
yeah, that's amazing.
Yes, exactly.
That's definitely a cool thing.
We get up together and we go together. Just don't wake up and postpone my gym time.
It gets hard sometimes. Yes. It really does.
Yes.
But I think that's so funny and it's so true. Like I feel the same. Like if I don't get to the gym first, if I don't get it done reasonably, my goal is that I just want to get a workout in before 8 a.m. Before the phone starts ringing and I can get my stuff done. And if I don't, I have that sense of anxiety. I guess I wouldn't call it anxiety. I'd call it stress for me where I'm like, I didn't take care of myself. I didn't do what I know I needed to do to reach my goals. And I'm pissed, I'm like, I wish I would have done something different. And it's like, I'm trying to work out, but that workout helps me focus when I'm working, and I'll usually end up getting more done in less time anyway. So it's like a routine. So just like brushing your teeth, you just wake up and you do it. So for me, it's like if I wake up and I don't get to brush my teeth, all I'm going to be thinking about all day is I didn't brush my teeth. I need to brush my teeth. It's the same with the gym. That's the exact way it is. I'm like, okay, I didn't get to go to the gym. I need to go to the gym. It's just the same thing because you create that routine. So then you get anxiety when you're not in that routine. And it's so important. It's just day to day. You're knocking it out. You put that first. And so I guess in the day-to-day routine, what do you think people underestimate about it? I know we talked about it can be boring. It's the similar things all the time, but are there other things where people, maybe you have a client come in and they're expecting to hear all these certain things and then you tell them, this is kind of what a day-to-day should look like. Do you get pushback or they're like, okay, that sounds good?
Oh, a lot of pushback because for some reason, certain little things will seem huge to somebody else. I mean, and that's just life. That's just how it is with anything. But if you tell them eating breakfast, that's the biggest pushback I get where they're like, oh my God, how am I supposed to eat breakfast or I'm not hungry? It's like, what? This is just breakfast. This is all we're talking about. So I get a lot of pushback with stuff like that, especially when it comes to eating. Because even the gym, I've had people, the one girl was a nurse and her schedule was crazy. She's working 4 a.m., I don't even know what time of night until 4 a.m. and just all these other things. It was hard for her to get the gym in, but the pushback mainly comes from the eating and all of that. And I get a lot of pushback on especially breakfast, things like that.
I think so too. That's the easy one where no one's used to doing it, and then because they do without breakfast so long, their body adapts and they don't get hungry. And then they're like, well, how am I supposed to eat? I'm not hungry. And then they'll do it a couple days or a week or two, and then they start getting hungry. And I love seeing that happen. It's just kind of like their metabolism firing up. And just getting things to work right again.
A lot of people just don't realize how many times a day you should eat and can eat.
True.
That's the biggest thing.
They definitely underestimate that. And like we talked about earlier, most of the time we're getting people to eat more and they think it's crazy, but your body thrives on that consistency and that intake that's enough for what they're putting it through. Like a woman's working a 12-hour shift at the hospital. She's burning calories on her feet
a lot,
all night. Yeah, and so she needs more food than she realizes, but if she's running on Dunkin' Donuts or Starbucks, you know, her body's going to fight her and hold on to that weight and not get hungry because it feels like it's just supposed to survive that way.
Exactly.
But it doesn't have to be like that.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I get that pushback a lot too. So you're not alone.
Yes.
I think we're all facing similar struggles.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, people are different, so we have to figure out what's going to make this person tick and get them to start the breakfast or start hitting the gym.
Yeah.
So it's fun just kind of learning what that takes.
Yeah. I don't think I walked you through the day-to-day on prep.
True. Yeah.
I was like, wait, it's the same thing as it's the same thing as my day-to-day not on prep, except for some more cardio, and then my meals are very routinely structured and prepared, because failing to prepare is preparing to fail, especially when it comes to something like competing. So if I don't have all my food ready and I'm going to be living my day-to-day life, I'm going to be missing out on so many meals, and it's just going to be tanking me, because when you're on prep, there's certain times you got to eat. There's just certain things you have to eat before certain activities. It's very particular. So if I don't have that prepared, then it's just not going to go smoothly unless I'm at home all day. So if I'm off all day,
that's nice.
I can probably be like, okay, this doesn't have to be prepared for today, because I can prepare it fresh every time beforehand. But yeah, on prep, it's very routinely structured, where it's like I wake up, I go to the gym, I have my meals timed out and prepared, ready to go. So yeah, but pretty much the same as my my regular day-to-day, just a little more
a
like
tweaks here and there. But you kind of get to take more thinking out of it. Like you plan it out ahead, but then during the day you're like, this is just what I do. I don't think about it. I just get it done.
That's the best part about it. That's the best part.
And so like comparing prep and non-prep, like how has that changed the way you see your body? Like looking in the mirror, or like just how you feel day to day? Like what's that like?
So the off season, I feel like for most bodybuilders, is always a little bit scary, because you're intentionally putting on weight.
Yeah.
You're intentionally putting on weight. So
build muscle.
Off season starts, you know, whenever you're done with your show season and you finish your reverse, then you're into the off season. So you're intentionally putting on weight from that starting point of being super lean, looking super ripped. So from that starting point,
you're like loving it.
Yes. So the beginning of, you know, being off prep feels a little scary, and it's like that for most people. But I pretty much see the way I see my body, like since I compete now, it's kind of like I see it for the expectations it's supposed to be for the show, if that makes sense. Because every division has its like expectations of the certain way you're supposed to look. So when I'm in prep and off season, it's kind of the same. Like when I'm in prep, I'm like, okay, now that the fat's gone and I can actually see little details, I'm like, these are some things that can use some fine tuning. And then when I'm in the off season, I'm like, these are the things that needed fine tuning. Let me like hone them in. But I definitely love myself like through and through. Like I definitely do through and through, because I remember a moment in particular when I was super lean the last time. I was taking pictures of my abs, like from like this angle. I'm like taking pictures of my abs. I was like, this looks sweet. And as I was taking them, I was like, remember this moment. Remember how bad you feel right now, like your body physically. I'm like, just remember how bad you physically feel, even though this looks cool. You have to remember this. So it's like, yes, I love the way it looked and everything, but I definitely still love myself in the off season, because I'm like, okay, now I feel good, and I don't look, you know, like I still think I look good, but even though it's not that, even though it's not that stage level. So I definitely love myself in prep and out of it, but when you first get out of it, it is a little bit rocky. It's like, okay, I have to put on weight. You see the scale go up and everything, but I was honestly happy to do my first reverse out of my show, because I was excited to not look like that anymore. I'm like, I'm excited to not have veins going everywhere, not have my face sunken in, and
there's
all of that.
There's pros and cons.
Yeah, because stage lean too, like if you see somebody walking around stage lean, they could look a little sickly. So
Yeah,
it kind of looks a little sickly, but if
Yeah.
you see them up on stage after they're tanned and they go through
That
like
helps.
peak week, you know, where you're increasing carbs and filling out everywhere you're supposed to, it's like, okay, that looks pretty cool. But walking around stage lean before that point, you do look a little sickly. So it's like, yeah, I love it and I look cool, but I also know I look kind of sickly. So it's like, I can't wait to get to the off season where I look like a human and I look normal
and feel good.
Yes,
inside.
and I was worried when I did do my first show. I was like, I feel like this is going to make me hate myself in the off season because I'm not going to have a six pack and I don't know, there's just going to be a lot more weight on me, but it's been perfectly fine. Like I definitely still like my body just the same when I'm, you know, show ready versus when I'm not show ready. So I'm very thankful that hasn't changed. I joke sometimes, like being in off season, like I'll joke and I'm like, oh, it's just so fat, so chunky, or like whatever. I like to say like pat back. I like to say I have pat back. Like if I have like a back roll, I'm like, oh my God, I got pat back right now. Like funny. I'll like joke and stuff like that, but I truly do like love myself just the same.
Yeah, you know that both sides.
Yeah, there's pros and cons of both of them. And, you know, off season, I'm not letting myself go. So it's, you know, there's a difference there because when you do your reverse, it's very strategic. So that way you're not letting yourself go and just blowing up out of nowhere. Exactly. You have to slowly increase everything again to where then you can drift into the off season, whether or not you want to like bulk or just kind of like maintain what you got going on, you know, so as long as I'm not, you know, letting myself go, then I'm pretty happy with myself both ways.
There's still a strategy involved.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I've done that with a lot of my clients, like the concept of reverse dieting. Like a lot of people aren't familiar with that. And
it's hard.
When people stall out, I've had to take a lot of people way up in their calories and kind of get them at a baseline, establish that, and then bring them back down.
Yeah.
And so like in the bodybuilding world, I know that's very common. And that's, so I've always liked using that. And I think you do it right because you've developed that self-love through and through. So like no matter where you're at on stage ready or off season, fully loaded, the highest weight you've been, you still love both because you know their purpose.
Right.
And you can't stay at either one for the long term. You know, you end up in the middle long term. But as you go through these cycles, I guess has each cycle gotten better, like the way you view yourself? Like
each cycle as in like cutting, reversing, bulking, all that.
Like the first time you're about to go into your first off season after the first show, like it was rough, you know, you're a little nervous.
Yes.
But now a couple times later, how do you feel? Is it the same or you're like, okay, this is just part of the plan?
I think the reverse is always the hardest part because not because of the way I look, but like in intentionally gaining weight. That was the fear from the first show, was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna intentionally gain weight. But also, this is the hardest part about it, is that like your body is so hungry when you're at that point, your body is so hungry. You're ready to just eat. And you got to be strategic about the way you do it, or else it's not gonna be good. So that's the hardest part about the reverse. But as far as like, did you say how I view myself in like all of those ways, or just how it feels?
Yeah. Like now that you've done it a couple times, like going into an off season after this show coming up, like, are you going to be like, oh, just, it's all good? Or like, do you still get nervous?
So like, no, like it makes me excited because how I look at it, and this sounds a little silly, but like once you get lean, it's kind of just like peeling everything and revealing what you've been building in the off season.
True.
So like how I look at it is like, once I see myself stage ready for this, I'm going to be like, okay, awesome. Now I know what I got to work on. So let's freaking go. Let's go like build this. Yes. So I'm like, let's freaking go. Let's go build this. And I would even say this off season, like it was great because I felt like, I don't know, in the bulking phase, I still felt great. Like, I don't know, I felt more free with food and everything, and I felt just very excited to know like what I'm building and then seeing things actually grow.
Yeah, so from this time to
last time. Yes, it's so awesome. Like you get to see yourself actually grow. So like I would say, it started off with like a lot of fear, and now it's just excitement because there's good things about each end of it. Like being super lean, I'm like, okay, I see what I built, and then when I'm going into the off season, I'm like, and now I get to build more. Now I know what I gotta build. So it's exciting. It's fun.
It is. And
and I think it'll just keep getting more exciting.
It will. I think every session you do, like every whole cycle through every part of that, you're gonna be like, okay, this is, my shoulders are good now.
Yeah.
I'm going to work on my V-line or
Yeah.
my thigh, my hamstring,
Yeah.
quad. It's so cool to like go through that. And it's like your body's like a puzzle and you're working on one little piece.
It's really cool. Like, I had to grow my hamstrings from my last like show. I knew that. I mean, like, nobody told me that. I just knew that. Like, I could look at myself, and be like, okay, yeah, I need to grow those. I asked for feedback from like the judges, and I just never got it. But I'm like, they were probably gonna tell me my hamstrings are small. Like, I could I could just tell, and I know what they're looking for. So I'm like, okay, cool. So now, like, this last off season, I got to use it to like really hammer and grow my hamstrings. So I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. I can see them growing. This is sweet. And now I'm like, now I can't wait to peel back and see how much I really built. This is so much fun. This is awesome. It's
a good time.
It's so fun. It's really cool.
I love it. And it's like, so let me put it all together now. So like, you've strengthened your self-love so much. You have confidence in yourself, like in and out of the gym. And so like, the younger girls who are getting into lifting or have been lifting, or women of any age especially, and often they think that their confidence, well, they don't think it, sometimes this is true, their confidence stems from how they look. So what would you tell them to like help break that stigma? Like, there's more to just the look. There's more to this than just how we look. Like, we love this, but what would you tell them when they don't care about any of this? They just want to be skinny, and we want them to be healthy. How do you kind of work that through?
I would say it's really hard as a girl to ever kind of feel 100% like your confidence doesn't come from a little bit with the way you look.
True.
Just because beauty standards are always changing, and so then you're always comparing yourself to something new, something different.
Yeah, whoever the hottest celebrity is every 10 years.
So what I would say is, like, I don't know if this is the best advice, but this is what happened with me. I knew like what I wanted to look like, so I built that, and I remained happy with that because it's for me. It's not to please somebody else. So I would say not to compare yourself and to kind of build what you want to be. And if in the case that that's very skinny, I would just put it in terms like, that's not healthy. That's really, really, I don't know, just detrimental. That's not self-love. That's honestly, it's like self-destruction there. Like, you're just, you're harming yourself. So I would say if your goal is just to be super skinny, to just know that that's not healthy, is not sustainable. And honestly, I would tell them to find accounts on social media of women who show like the real side of things. I love those accounts where it'll be, they're sitting and their stomach's scrunched up, or like they're showing cellulite, and like they're comparing like a really good photo of themselves to like a not so great photo of themselves. I would honestly say to like find those accounts and look, so that way you know that you're still human, because even like, I don't know, even if you're where you want to be and then you're noticing those little things, like, go look at those accounts. Just know that it's normal, because I definitely used to be like that too, because I got to a point where I'm like, okay, like, I'm where I want to be, but then like if I bent down and I had like a roll on my stomach, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I need to work harder, I need to be better. Or like my thigh squishes and I see some cellulite, I'm like, oh my God, like I need to be better. And it's like, no, like I'm still human. So I would say just understand you're still human too at the end of the day. Understand you're still human. Pick what your goal is, build that, and just be happy with that. Just be happy with yourself, because at the end of the day, you get one body. We can only do so much, and everybody's genetics are different. The way you're going to grow is different. So we can only do so much. We only get one body, and it's literally where we exist. So take care of it. And like, that's kind of where a lot of self-love comes from, is like, this is where I live. Like, I live in here. Like, I live in here. This is like my home. I have to love it. I have to be happy with it. I shouldn't harm it by just trying to make it super skinny, and
Yeah, like you said, self-destruction. Like, that was a good way to put it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Women are putting themselves through hell to look a certain way. And and I think you said it best too. Like, don't compare yourself to others, because that's where you end up trying to be skinny. And when you said, when they're doing that, that's what happens. But as you begin to turn off the noise and turn off social media for a minute, just ask, like, what do I really want to look like? Like, this
Yeah.
is me. I'm in this body. I
Yeah.
love how you put that. We have to be in this body for as
Yeah,
long as
you
we live.
do. It's your house.
Yeah, it is. So when you stop comparing, I think you kind of find or start to really listen to that voice inside of you that says what you really want to look like. And you'll probably find it's not stage ready every single day.
Yes.
You know?
Like, most importantly, just remembering that you're human, because
Yeah.
being like, oh, well, I want to look like this. I want to look perfect with a 6-pack 24/7. And like, I'm only going to be happy if I look like this.
Yeah.
Like, just find happiness in that find happiness in the fact that you're an able-bodied person.
Yeah,
in
that's a
general,
win
like,
right there.
yeah, like
Just to walk
be
in the
happy
gym.
in that, and just realize that you're human. Your happiness doesn't need to come from having a 6-pack. Your happiness can come from that you're a healthy human that's walking around and just doing all the things. Like, not everybody gets that luxury too, so that's another thing. Is just
true.
be happy and love yourself that you're able to even attempt to get super skinny.
Seriously,
You know what I
just
mean?
to
Yeah.
even be focused on some of these things
Yeah.
is such a luxury in itself.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what has helped me frame a lot of me being on the journey. You know, I have so many things causing stress in my life, but I'm like, all these problems I have are like problems that I used to pray to have. You know,
Yeah.
like, I wished I had these problems 5 years ago, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, these problems aren't going to break me. I'm going to figure them out.
Yeah.
You know? And that's how it is in the gym. Like, the way you look now, you know, a year ago, you were like, oh, I wish I looked like that. I could never look like that. And now you have, because you just showed up for yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's fun. It's a journey every day. And
Yeah.
I think you've been on that journey a while. And like,
Yeah.
you've channeled that into helping others on that journey. And, you know, that's why I love you, because you have focused on that so long, and
Yeah.
you have your heart in it. And
Yeah.
so that's where I think we should just end it here. And like, we want to push people to be better, but we don't want to push people. You know, we don't want
Yes.
to like bully them into it.
Yes.
We want them to do it in a way they feel is right. And I feel like you guide someone along that path so well. And that's why I feel like we connected on that.
Yeah.
Because we've both been through it. You know,
Yeah.
we've been on every end of the spectrum.
Yeah, that's what I tell everybody is like, I'm not in it for money, because like, obviously, yes, when I have clients, they're paying me.
Yeah,
I'm not
and you
in it
have
for the money.
bills.
I'm in it, yeah, I'm in it to see them pretty much like fast forward the journey I went on, because I had to go
Exactly.
through it with no guidance.
Yeah,
I
and
had
it
to go through
sucks.
it with, you know, nobody teaching me any of this stuff. I kind of just had to learn it until obviously I did like some like schooling on it and everything, but
Definitely.
I just kind of had to learn by doing. So it's like, okay, what I want to be for my clients is the fast track to getting where I'm at mentally with it.
Yeah.
Because I know that there's people starting off just how I started off at 15, and I want them to be in the headspace I'm in now within like a few weeks or months, however
Yeah.
long it'll take, rather
Make it
than
happen.
years like how I had to do it. Like, that's my goal. I care about helping them mentally and obviously physically, because it's so beautiful to see them fall in love with themselves. You get somebody in the gym, they start to be consistent and they're eating the things, they're doing all the right things, and then they're texting me like, oh my God, I've never been so happy, so confident. It's like, this is
Yeah.
why I wanted to do this. Like, this is amazing.
It
And when
is.
they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize like I could eat so much food and like I'm not going to gain weight. This is so wonderful. I'm like, I told you. And now
Yeah.
you're enjoying life and you're loving yourself. It's just beautiful. It's the whole point.
really
It's the whole
is.
point. Yeah.
Truly, truly. And so say a 15-year-old girl's watching this and she can look you up on Instagram. She can get, and I always say, like you said, the fast track, I call it the straight line to success. Like,
Yeah.
I tell my clients, we're not going to tell you anything that you can't figure out on your own or look up or use ChatGPT. But the difference is we've lived it, and we
Yes.
can give you that straight line based on your personal life, because
Yes.
we connect with you. And so
ChatGPT, oh my gosh.
it's a blessing and a curse.
I always say that because I'm, obviously not happy that you can go on ChatGPT and look up stuff, but I'm like, you know what though? I always say, ChatGPT didn't go through it. They didn't live through
Yeah,
it. It's not a human at the end of the day. It's not a human. Like, everything I learned was literally by doing, and it was years worth of it. So
all the fails
yes,
and the successes.
yes, I can give personal experiences on things. I can do all that ChatGPT can't. So
Yeah,
definitely,
I feel the same
yes.
way. And it's so easy to say, oh, it's just macros, it's just numbers, but there's an emotional aspect to it
There
too.
is so much. That's the whole reason that I wanted to get into it because I knew how I felt as a 15-year-old girl. I'm trying to be who I would have wanted to listen to at 15 years old. Like,
bingo.
Yes, that's exactly who I want to be.
That's perfect.
Yes.
And I hope that someone watching this can connect and reach out to you. And
Yeah,
so
that'd be awesome.
I want you here. I want to promote you. So what's the Instagram that they could follow? And we'll put a link in, but you tell them.
_Kylie.fit.
Okay, perfect. So they'll hit you up on there.
Yes.
And, you know, we do the same thing nutrition wise, and I feel like that's why we connect well. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming
Yeah.
on. We'll get this online soon.
Awesome.
Boom.